Welcome to Take 5, your 5-minute inspirational message from Solid Rock Drogheda. Back in 1995, I went on my second ever missions trip, short-term missions trip to Eastern Europe. My first trip had been a couple of years earlier when I went to Czechoslovakia, as it was then, before the Czech Republic and Slovakia divided into two separate countries again. Now, I know some of my Czech friends might feel a bit insulted at me calling Czechoslovakia Eastern Europe. They will be insistent that is Central Europe. But my second trip was definitely to Eastern Europe. It was to the Ukraine. And I was going at the invitation of a friend of mine, Jorge Giron. Jorge was at that time the Eastern European Educational Director for Eastern Europe and the former CIS. And he had invited me to go, and I was going to do seminars for pastors in the Ukraine. So I was flying with Austrian Airlines, and Jorge had booked the tickets for us, and he was based in Germany. So Jorge was going to fly to Vienna from Germany. I was going to fly to Vienna from Dublin, and he had arranged that we would be sitting beside each other on the plane as we flew on to Odessa. And he was going to brief me on the flight about all that we were supposed to be doing and what I would expect. So I'm really leaving on this journey absolutely blind to what's going to happen. I've got a visa. I don't know the name of a single person in Ukraine. I'm just thankful Jorge is going to be with me. Well, I catch my flight from Dublin. I get my flight to Vienna, and then I board my next flight, and I'm there before Jorge, which is great. I say, okay, I'll take the aisle seat. Jorge is a little fella. He can sit, he won't mind being boxed in by the window so much. And we're sat there, and I'm saying, God, so I wonder where Jorge is. And then they close the doors. They do the safety things, and they take off. And I'm on this flight to Ukraine with not a clue what I'm going to do when I get there. And you've got to understand that this was in the days before widespread use of mobile phones. I didn't have a mobile phone even. And I'm on a flight to Ukraine, and I haven't a clue what's going to happen when I get there. And I get off the plane, and the lady at the bottom of the steps, one of the stewardesses, says to me, Mr. Park. I said, yeah. She said, I've got a message for you. I'm like, oh, thank God. She said, Mr. Giron says his flight was delayed, so he can't make it. And I'm going like, and? There's got to be more to it than that. That was it. And so I end up in an airport in Odessa with no way of contacting anybody, not even knowing why I'm there or anything. And I decide I will go to the Austrian Airlines office. I could see up on the upstairs bit, up on a mezzanine floor, that there was an office for Austrian Airlines. So it said Austrian Airlines outside. I said, okay, I'll go up there. Maybe they'll be able to help me make some calls or something. So I go up there. And now you got to remember, this is nothing like, obviously, Odessa would be if you went there today, I'm sure. But it was not that long after the collapse of the Soviet Union and everything else. And I walk into that office, and there's just, and I'm not joking, there's a bare office with nothing in it except a dead Alsatian dog lying on the floor. And I'm speechless. And so I go down, I'm in the airport, I'm wandering around, I have no clue. And then I have an idea. I got a piece of paper, and I drew a very rough approximation of the logo for the Church of God denomination that I belong to, because I knew that I was going to be working with Church of God churches. And I'm walking around holding this logo in the air. And eventually these guys come to me, and they motion for me to come with them. I have no idea who they are. I hope they're responding in good faith to my logo, but I have no idea who they are. They take me out, they put me in the back of a car, they're in the front car, we drive off. We drive for several hours. We get into a lonelier place. We end up going a lonely track to a farmhouse. And there, they stop. And at this stage, I'm praying. I'm saying, God, I don't know who these people are. I don't know if they're the mafia, if they're the church. I don't know if I'm about to have a time of fellowship, or I'm about to be mugged, or I'm about to die. I don't know. I get out of the car, go into the farmhouse, and there's an old woman there, says, Slava Boga, which is the only Russian I know, but it means praise the Lord. And I knew I was in the right place with the right people. But that was such a frightening time. I want to tell you, there are times whenever you will feel alone. There will be times whenever you think there's absolutely no visible means of support for you. I just want to say this, that God is with you. I thank God that he was with me that day when I hadn't a clue what was going to happen. God knew, and God was still in control. And you know what? Sometimes there's times when I think I've got things more under control, but I tell you what, God is still my source of protection and my source of security. May be he your source today. Please join us again tomorrow for another Take 5, your 5-minute inspirational message from Solid Rock Drogheda.